Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. And a very good morning everyone. Inshallah we will proceed our last lecture today entitled Food Safety Education. Previously we have covered on the traceability, GMP, HACCP, food safety program, etc. And today we will cover on the food safety education from the background to the history and then the application in current days lah. So this is the lecture outline from the introduction, and then we will cover on the food safety program in Malaysia. I will cover two program, future direction and lastly conclusion from our lecture today lah. For your information, Food Safety Education Month is set globally on September every year lah. So basically it is very suitable for us in food science and technology, also in halal food development, to celebrate this month actually every September every year lah. So this is a news which is very related to our topic today. This dated on July 2024, where 2 deaths linked to food poisoning from Gombak school. So basically if we read this article, this is after eating the food, the victim and both his parents experienced diarrhea. So basically, the student or the victim purchased the food in school, in their school. So this is some issue that we have to cater, especially related to food safety program lah, where we know that what we eat will represent what happened to our body lah kan. So that's why this is just one of 1,000 cases in Malaysia kan. So that's why our Ministry of Health very strict in the regulating this or catering this issue, especially nowadays we have many new cases which need further investigation. So as introduction, food safety education refers to the process of imparting knowledge and skill to individuals, organizations and communities to ensure that food is handled, prepared and stored and consumed in ways that minimize risk of public health. So basically this program is to educate everyone, not only the food handler but also the consumer, regarding the how to manage, how to handle, how to eat and etc. It involves teaching best practices, understanding regulation and promoting awareness about preventing foodborne illness and ensuring food safety across the food supply chain. Why we have to cater everyone? Because even if we prepare a very good food, but if our consumer don't know how to store, how to manage the food, it will also affect their health for sure kan? So it includes involvement of all parties who feed people. For example lah, Food Bank Malaysia need to feed the need, Food Aid Foundation and etc. Even now KPT also promote Dapur Madani. So it must be also implemented this food safety program for sure lah kan. So there are a few key components related to this food safety program. First, due to the foodborne illness prevention, and then safe food handling practices, storage and temperature control, regulatory compliance and also consumer awareness lah. That's why this is the 5 main reason why we need to empower this program. This is some data from 2004 and 2014, mean and maximum annual incidence rate of food poisoning. If you can see here, most of cases happen here lah kan, in our places lah, Terengganu and Kelantan kan. And meanwhile the maximum incident also in the same region lah kan. Why? So the reason is, part of it is because our temperature is very suitable for their growth lah. So we can see there mean and maximum monthly temperature in Malaysia. So basically our Malaysia temperature in general is very suitable for microbes growth lah. That's why lah the regulator or MOH need to take further action to solve this issue lah. Kita tak boleh we cannot manage the weather kan, because itu aturan Tuhan kan, but we can manage the human who consume the food lah. So what is so significant about this program? First, it reduces the incidence of foodborne illness. Second, it promotes consumer trust in the food system. Third, it can enhance the compliance with the safety regulation and standard in food production, and lastly it encourage sustainable food practices lah. So we know that it also related to our health and also the condition of our earth or Malaysia in general lah kan. I mean if ramai orang sakit, many people felt it will affect our productivity. Even if there are too much cases on food poisoning, it may also affect our sources of food in our country kan. So that they are interrelated. So related to SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, these topics, this food safety assurance system also support the SDG 2, which is zero hunger, 3 good health and well-being, 4 quality education, 8 decent work and economic growth, 12 on the responsible consumption and production, and 13 climate action, and lastly 17 partnership for goals lah. So basically this program, the food safety assurance program, is very important not only for our country but also for the global community lah, for sure kan. Next we move on to the food safety program in Malaysia. In this topic we will cover on what MOH did to ensure that the food safety program is successfully delivered to the citizen lah, to the netizen. First, before we proceed to the initiative, we look at the national framework for food safety education first. So basically there are 3 division or parties that actively involved in this framework. First MOH lah for sure, and then FSDQ, Food Safety and Quality Division, and also NCFS, National Centre for Food Safety. This NCFS is quite new, and it is actively promoting their role for educating our citizen. Next, there are a few program and certification that is covered in this program. First, food handling training program. I'm sure that you will be part of the training, where you will get the certificate after the training. And then best mesti, MyGap, MS 1500 on halal, GMP and HACCP. And then even we can also include our traceability my food tag program in this topics kan. So for today we will cover these 3 first, because basically the one who in the bottom, MyGap, MS 1500, GMP, HACCP and my food tag already covered in our previous lecture lah kan. We move on to the first food handling training program. This is basically not organized by MOH lah. So what happened? How this program is firstly introduced? It is basically due to unsatisfactory level of cleanliness of food premises and increase in report of food poisoning incident. It is the internal factor. One of significant external factor is due to in 1998 Malaysia hosting the Commonwealth Game. If you remember this logo kan, Kuala Lumpur 98, where during this time Bukit Jalil is the main event for this lah, main venue for this event. So during that, to prepare for the Kuala Lumpur 98 Sukan Commonwealth ni, the government introduced food handler training program before LPM, latihan pengali makanan, in two years before Commonwealth Game. And the training of food handler has been privatized and conducted more systematically by accredited instructor lah. So as I said before, MOH did not cater this program because it diserahkan kepada external parties lah to conduct. But the training of trainers is led by diketuai ataupun diuruskan oleh MOH lah. The food hygiene regulation 2009 was gazetted on 28 February 2009 by requiring all food handler to undergo the LPM courses at the food handler training school, SM, sekolah latihan pengendali makanan, accredited by MOH lah. So this is sometime if something we will as a country, if we want to organize some big event, we have to control so many things lah. Same goes to the previously we leading the ASEAN. So before ASEAN, there are many policy have been updated in our country to suit the community ASEAN championship lah. Sama juga dalam Commonwealth Game kan, to ensure that all food is safely provided to the players, athlete, management. So our government introduced food handling training program lah during that time. What are the objectives of LPM? First is exposure and awareness. To provide exposure and awareness to all food handler. The focus is food handler on aspect of food hygiene and safety, personnel operators, and also food premises lah. And then to reduce the incident of food poisoning, especially throughout the country. Especially it is not basically not for Commonwealth lah kan. Basically it's for everyone. But the main trigger to ensure that all food is safe is Commonwealth Game lah during that time. So the activities in LPM, basically first as LPM Sekolah Latihan Pengendali Makanan Education, recognition of carrying out food handler training activities to food handlers. Second, compulsory instructor courses to be attended to qualify the individual for recognition as an instructor. Next, recognition of instructor itself, a process of teaching and conducting food handler training courses. Even after this, you can be part of the trainer in SLPM, where you have to join the training, the TOT, training of trainer, and that get the certificate lah. Next, monitor and audit for SLPM instructor, and lastly, comply the accreditation lah. Action to be imposed by any SLPM found to be fail to comply. Even as we recommended before, for you to enter the industry during the internship, you have to join this class and get the certificate kan. Then make sure that you have the certificate from the accredited SLPM lah, Sekolah Latihan Pengendali Makanan. This is some example of certificate of completing the training lah kan. And please make sure that there are validation period lah for typhoid, not for this. Basically after this certificate, we will inject typhoid. So the typhoid have expiry date lah. As long as we practices the SLPM knowledge ataupun kita amalkan apa yang kita diajar, should be no problem on the food handler issue lah. Next, food safety assurance program, which is mandatory for owner occupier of food manufacturing premises to prepare and establish food safety assurance program (FSAP). The objective is to give assurance that consumption of any specific type food will not be harmful to consumer. Some example of established FSAP are GMP, HACCP, ISO 22000, and etc. Even over time, this FSAP will increase, improve, and evolve lah due to the global demand and etc. SME is difficult to fulfill or implement FSAP because of high cost, manpower, and expertise lah. So we know that to get this certification, maybe you can pay the fee, but maybe you cannot afford the renovation, audit process, and etc. Ministry of Health, MOH introduced food safety is responsibility of the industry. In the name is food safety is a responsibility to industry, but we know it as a mesti. Skim Pensijilan Makanan Selamat Tanggungjawab Industri. Due to the high cost of established FSAP, our government via MOH introduce mesti ni lah, as at least our SMEs can fulfill this mesti process because the cost is lower, and then you can provide good food for your consumer lah. That is the objective lah in general kan. But the history of mesti, I need to remove the image first. Okay, this is the objective. The history of mesti. Basically, it is first introduced with the name of One Malaysia Food Safety Scheme (SKIM), Skim Makanan Selamat Satu Malaysia during Datuk Seri Najib tenure kan. And then implemented in 2012, target SME based on regulators, and the cost is free. Then mesti is implemented in 2012, and then in 2007 it is based on demand, fee imposed for JMP, and then for HACCP by MOH implemented in 1998 based on demand also, when the fee imposed. So basically, as I said before, the cost for JMP and HACCP is quite high due to the fee and renovation, audit, and etc. But the cost for for Mesti is basically free lah, low and free. So that's why MOH to encourage the consumer, the food handler to get the certificate. At least you have the Mesti certificate to operate your premises. So we move on to the introduction on Mesti, makanan selamat tanggungjawab industri. The objective is to assist food manufacturing premises in Malaysia, especially SME, in obtaining a certification and thereafter complying the requirement prescribed under Food Hygiene Regulation 2009. Mesti is the first prerequisite for more advanced standards such as GMP, Halal, HACCP, and SO. So basically, if you get Mesti, basically it's easier for you to get the next certification, Halal ke GMP ke HACCP, etc. But if you already have GMP, is 100% easier lah for you to get the Mesti certification lah. Application is every food business owner in Malaysia, and secondly food manufacturing premises in Malaysia. It covers all aspects of food safety, from the raw material to production processes to final product packaging and distribution lah. So maybe after this you can see some product that have Mesti logo So don't afraid to consume the food lah kan. Mesti tu pun is good enough for you to ensure the safety of the food. And make sure that the first thing first, on the food business owner, it has to register in SSM lah, Suruhanjaya Syarikat. The benefit of Mesti, firstly, produce marketability, market opportunity, and promotion activities. Facilitates issuance of free sales certificate, CFS, a document which state that product can be freely sold in Malaysia. Tak ada issue, you nak masuk mana-mana negeri pun, kalau you ada Mesti, should be no problem for you to enter. Fulfill the legal requirement under Food Hygiene Regulation by establishing FSAP lah. So this logo, this certification shows that you already implement the FSAP in your company, in your premises. Free technical coaching by MOH. As I said, this program is free. Mesti logo on product label assures consumer of safety of the food lah. No need, so the consumer no need to worry on the status, the hygiene, and etc. This is the process flow of Mesti, from application, review, auditor, and etc. And we can see that there are special case on the fast track certification. We will cover after this. What is fast track application? Basically, it is awarded to the company that already certified for GMP, HACCP, package, drinking water license, natural water license, ice preparation license. So basically, as I said before, if you already have GMP but you want to gain confidence by the Malaysian consumer, for example, it's easier for you to get the certification lah. So because as we know that the audit process of GMP is far more stricter than Mesti for sure lah, because Mesti is the asas, the basic for you to, the fundamental for you to gain the certification, especially in Malaysia lah kan. So we move on to the some element that are embedded or implemented or audited in the Mesti. Firstly, on control of the premises lah, on the design, on the food handler. For sure lah, you have to go for food handler practices kan, and then you have to inject the typhoid vaccination for every 3 years, kena renew, and etc. And then training and maintenance and sanitation. The content is almost same with GMP but not as strict as GMP lah. Kita boleh mudahkan begitu. Part B on the control of operation, raw material control, process control, packaging control, storage control, transportation and distribution control kan. Itu basic requirement lah. Part A and part B, control of premises and control of the operation. So that we have to fulfill. You can further explore the content of Mesti in MOH website lah kan. So the timeline, as I said, there are two ways. First, normal certification, basically 13 days. Less than 1 month, you can get the Mesti certificate in general lah kan. Especially you have knowledge on food science and technology and halal food development. I'm sure that if you coach or you lead your company, your internship company after this to get the Mesti, should be easier lah, because you have scientific and application knowledge. Next, on the fast track, as I said, on if your company already have GMP, HACCP and halal, etc., it take less than almost 7 days lah to complete the process. This is some example of mesti certificate from few companies like Organic Field, Adifood, and Adifood is owned by Food Technologists from UiTM, and coached by our lecturer lah, our alumni. Next, we move on to the next program, FSCP program on BEST. Maybe you already know, you already familiar with the logo, bersih, selamat dan sihat. So this is the BEST logo. Objective, a recognition given to food entrepreneur to promote food premises entrepreneurs, providing safe and healthy food to the consumer, to the customer. An enhancement program for the existing monitoring program implemented by Ministry of Health. Every food premise entrepreneur covered in Malaysia ataupun pengusaha premis makanan, food premises operator. What is the differences between the BEST and mesti? In general, cafe mesti is focus on so-called kilang lah, manufacturing, but BEST is for cafe, for example. If you can see that some cafe in UNISA already obtained this certificate, so means that the food is the quality and food safety assurance of the food is should be no compromise lah. You can believe on their food safety program. That is the basic differences between BEST and mesti. Satu tu kilang, satu tu tempat makan lah, kita bahasa mudahnya. BEST recognition, there are 4 main criteria for BEST recognition. First is employer of food premises that maintain a clean premises, provide safe food, provide healthy food, and the entrepreneur of food premises that supply food in right size of dishes according to individual needs. Maksudnya makanan yang diberikan tu portionnya yang sesuai. So which related to the next point, 2 important component, first on food safety and quality, and secondly on the nutritional component lah. So basically untuk dapatkan certification BEST ni, kita kena juga consider on the right portion size lah for our consumer or our customer. That's why lah in this image we can see that food truck pun boleh dapat BEST for sure lah, sebab dia food service kan, dia boleh dapat BEST sebab dia dapat memenuhi 4 kriteria inilah. The benefit is comply with the legal requirement under the regulation, sama food hygiene regulation, increase consumer confidence in food service offered. This recognition is given free to food premise operator because MOH want to encourage the entrepreneur to provide safe food to the consumer. The BEST logo will be provided free of charge and gaining benefit through promotional activities lah. Sebab logo yang diberikan daripada MOH ni diiktiraf oleh kerajaan sendiri, so kita tak perlu risau lah as a consumer kan. Next, application categories, as I said before, ada sedikit perbezaan lah dari segi skop antara food mesti dan juga BEST. So BEST firstly on catering, for example catering, institutional catering, entrepreneur who offer catering services, mana-mana yang provide kenduri kahwin semua tu kan. And then food premises pun boleh apply, contohnya mana-mana kedai, restaurant, hotel, food stall, canteen, food court and kiosk, and even if we can see that for example cafeteria ataupun Zeus Coffee lah paling dekat dengan kita, yang senang kita nak tengok, dia boleh apply dua lah, sama ada dia nak dapatkan BEST ataupun nak dapatkan halal. Kalau nak dapatkan BEST ni free, tapi nak dapat halal tu mungkin lebih mahal. So that's why lah kerajaan MOH give 2 option lah. First, okay, if you have some money you can go for halal certification. If you still need some time to gain some money, you can apply BEST first. And next, food truck operate on mobile basis, selling location designated by local authority, ready to eat food lah. So basically in general, if the company or the cafe or the food stall already get the BEST certification, you don't need to worry or query on their food safety activities in their premise lah. So this is the process flow for the application of BEST certificate. From the marking, ada exam, ada test sedikit, kelayakan markah, semakan kepatuhan terhadap kriteria wajib, patuh ke tidak patuh, and then we have to cover this, pelabelan kalori bagi menu asas. Dia jual nasi lemak, berapa kalori nasi lemak dia. So dia kena buat approximate lah, bahasa mudah dia. And then dia kena kira energy, macam we buat PD lah kan. Promosi pemakanan sihat, nanti kita tengok kepatuhan, cadangan pengiktirafan dan pengiktirafan best lah. So these are 3 wajib, kriteria wajib, compulsory criteria: suntikan typhoid, latihan pengenali makanan dan pendaftaran FOSIM. The company have to register with the FOSIM system lah, online kan. The validation period is 3 years for you to maintain the best certificate. These are some not eligible to apply: premises that sell one selection of food only containing high calories, salt or fat. For example, kilang yang jual cotton candy dekat mall, kan ada mesin dia tu kan, that is not sesuai lah. Ataupun kilang tu jual jeruk, jeruk saja, semua jenis jeruk dia jual kan. Adalah kat tempat kita ada, dekat tempat lain pun banyak kan. Itu tak dibenarkan. Kenapa? Sebab dia berkait dengan food nutrition kan. Premises that operate seasonally or are of and non-permanent nature. Maksudnya contohnya lah Param ni apa? Pasar Ramadan kan. Bazar Ramadan tu tak boleh apply best sebab bulan puasa dia jual. Tapi pasar malam boleh tak? Mungkin boleh. Subject to your routine lah. Kalau setiap malam you buat pasar malam tu, should be no problem lah kan. PLKM kitchen kan. Premise that only sell alcoholic for sure lah, sebab dia tak baik untuk kesihatan kan. Any categories of premises set by MOH from time to time lah. Nanti over the time, contohnya kita kata kilang tu jual makanan tapi dia jual juga vape contoh, so dia tak boleh apply best sebab dia berkait dengan food nutrition and food safety contohlah kan. So the checklist sama macam Mosti tadi kan. Antara checklist kriteria bagi permohonan best, yang pertama ialah on the component A, food safety lah, process control, premise and building, premise structure, food handler kan. Dia lebih praktikal lah, kita tengok apa yang diamalkan hari-harian. Kalau itu premise lah. Secondly, on the food safety, tadi sambungan on food safety, food equipment, utensil and food pressure area, water supply, ice, piping, sanitation facility, drainage, disposal of garbage, premise cleaning, maintenance, transportation and distribution and others. The second part of component B is on nutrition. In the best certification, you have to ensure that you have the info on calorie labeling and you have to display healthy eating information, and most important is kalau if you sell the food, you have to also supply the water kan. But in this best certification, any shop who certified with best must also sell plain water or mineral water in the shop lah kan. Pelabelan kalori melabel semua jenis menu makanan, minuman, buah-buahan bagi premis makanan yang menjual kurang daripada 10 jenis makanan, atau melabel sekurang-kurangnya 10 jenis menu makanan, minuman, buah-buahan bagi premis makanan yang menjual lebih daripada 10 jenis makanan. So subject to your amount of dishes that you sell lah kan. And then on the item 2, display healthy eating information. Contohnya, saranan pengambilan kalori makanan sehari, saranan mengambil harian buah-buahan, kena ada these notes ataupun stiker ataupun poster dekat kedai you lah, in general macam tu kan. Turut menjual menyediakan air kosong ataupun air mineral, tak kisah kowe ke air botol ke, tak kisah kan. Dan contohnya lah paling mudah kan, dekat kedai yang ada certified best tu ada tak logo ni, pinggan sihat Malaysia, suku-suku separuh, ada ke tak kan. Ataupun ada tak, contoh McDonald kan, walaupun kita kata mungkin McDonald tak termasuk dalam kategori ni kan. Kategori mana? Kategori ni kan. Betul ke McDonald tak termasuk? Tapi if McDonald can defend that their food is nutritious, so it's okay for them to apply this certification. Contohnya dia kata McChicken 410 kalori, dia declare semua ni kan, contohnya lah kan. And then dia pun on the food on the this nutrition part, healthy eating information, boleh letak stiker gula satu sudu dah cukup, kurang lebih baik contohnya kan. Ataupun dia boleh juga poster-poster ni ada je dekat social media KKM kan, on the benefit on the side effect of gula kan. Boleh je kita print as a poster and then kita paste dekat our premises lah, to fulfill the regulation tu kan, best regulation. And then saranan pengambilan garam sehari 5 gram garam sama dengan 1 paras sudu satu paras sudute, maksudnya we want to encourage our consumer ataupun customer to reduce the consumption of salt in their diet. Lagi, apa yang anda boleh lakukan untuk mengurangkan pengambilan garam. Ini antara konten-konten ni lah, poster-poster ni kita boleh paste in our premises. Ataupun kalau kita tengok kedai tu dah dapat logo best, cuba kita check dia ada tak poster-poster yang memberi kesedaran ataupun memberi peringatan kepada consumer berkait dengan keselamatan makanan ataupun nutrition. Next, on the validation period, kita dah habis cover on and that topic FSAP by MOH. Validation period based on the MOH lah kan. These three are MOH certification. Best tadi 3 tahun. Kalau mesti basically dia 3 tahun, semua 3 tahun. Mesti GMP and HACCP. Mesti is premise based. Lain kedai, lain sijilnya. GMP is premise based. Kalau buka cawangan baru kena apply baru. HACCP is product based. So satu produk satu seolah-olah satu HACCP certification lah. So lebih strict lah. And then what is the future direction of our program ni kan, FSAP ni kan, nak ke mana kita lepas ni kan. So basically kalau kita boleh ringkaskan, in Malaysia the challenge are addressing rural and underserved population and adapting to much risk lah. Basically kita pun tak tahu masih ramai lagi ke orang yang belum merasai kebaikan program ini. Kalau kita berada dekat bandar ataupun sedikit luar bandar, tepi bandar, kita rasa je benda ni, kita nampak je kedai-kedai yang ada logo-logo certification ni kan. Tapi macam mana dengan masyarakat yang belum menerima kan? Adakah kita berjaya menyantuni mereka ataupun kita dah berjaya ke masuk ke dalam tu untuk memperkenalkan program ini? Sebab mereka mungkin lebih terdedah kepada kesan-kesan daripada pemakanan ini kan. And then adapting emerging skill, apa lagi yang akan berlaku kan dekat masa depan kita kan, kita pun tak tahu. And then future trend, digital learning platform, adakah sekarang for sure lah kan, kursus latihan budaya makanan boleh buat online je kan. Over time akan datang macam mana kan. And then enhance use of AI tu, macam mana kita nak manfaatkan AI dalam kita menguruskan food safety assurance program kita ni kan. Itu satu perkara yang kita perlu sama-sama adaptasi, amalkan, belajar dan sebagainya lah. So ada satu soalan kan, last question, how can food safety education be improved to suit Malaysian unique food landscape? Kita ambil maklum negara kita ni ada pelbagai budaya kan, pelbagai pemahaman, pelbagai amalan kan. So for sure lah dia mempengaruhi pemakanan kita. Jadi macam mana food safety program kita ni, education ni nak meraihkan perkara itulah. Itu sesuatu perkara yang kita kena sama-sama fikirkan. Kalau kita ada kuasa, ada sedikit kekuatan, kita perlu lakukan sesuatu lah kan untuk kita meraihkan semua itu. So you can share your opinion either in comment ataupun you can share your opinion in clip lah for university student kan. Sebab apa? Sebab kita tahu we must be the agent of change lah kan. As a student, as a community, we have to be the agent of change. And in this area, in this field, how can we contribute to the community kan? That's something we have to fikir sama-sama lah kan. So you can read more on the, for example, investigation of the impact of climate change and rising temperature on food poisoning. Apa kesan peningkatan temperature terhadap kes-kes food poisoning kat Malaysia? Adakah dia membantu ataupun dia menyukarkan? And then these are some info on food handling training program yang you all boleh dapatkan dekat website Ministry of Health lah. So I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you so much for your contribution throughout this semester. And this is our last lecture for this semester, insyaAllah. Ada rezeki kita jumpa lagi. Mohon maaf atas segala kesilapan. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.